Hello and welcome to MBC News. I am Romeo Umari. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines. Government reaffirmed its commitment to transforming the energy sector by 2030. Human resource professionals in the country challenged to advance human resource excellence, saying this is crucial in achieving Malawi 2063. The Department of Animal Health and Livestock Development intensifies efforts to contain the spread of lumpy skin disease. In our first story, the government has reaffirmed its commitment to transforming the energy sector, aiming to provide reliable power to factories, hospitals and households nationwide by 2030. The Chief Secretary in the Office of President and Cabinet, Justin Saidi, was speaking when he visited Mpatamanga hydropower plant in Blantyre.
I'm very excited and happy that this place is now developing. In as far as the government is concerned, and according to the DPP manifesto, we need almost over 1,000 megawatts in this country for us to do more. And basically, the country is also working on issues of minerals. And for us to have minerals enough, we need more power. So this is one way of helping us also to grow in terms of minerals.
We have also achieved the construction of the Bailey Bridge, fully funded by MHPL. So basically, the Mpatamanga project has already started for Malawi. This is a very important project for Malawi first, with more jobs, more growth. We expect approximately 2.9% per year of impact on the economic growth for the country during the construction phase. We will have more than 2,500 jobs, mainly from Malawian workers on site.
This project, it's actually our baby. We have had it since the starting of the company. We have seen the development of every aspect of the project. When we were doing the feasibility study, when we were doing the partnership with the World Bank, when we were looking at partners, private partners in the project, we have been there. And therefore, this visit by the Chief Secretary has just added a strong voice to the project that as Malawi government, we are ready for the project. And we've been looking forward to this project to see it kicking off.
Meanwhile, the Chief Secretary to the government, Justin Saidi, has assured Malawians that the era of frequent crippling power blackouts is coming to an end following the government's adoption of a comprehensive national energy compact aimed at diversifying power generation and strengthening the national grid. Speaking during an interface in Blantyre with energy experts and officials from ESCOM and Egenco amidst heightened efforts to improve electricity reliability, Saidi emphasized that the government has taken serious concrete steps collaborating with various private companies and stakeholders to stabilize energy supply.
This is unique in such a way that it is adding to what we already have. It is supported by our donors, and it is coming at a time when we are also serious of doing more business, doing things that we are going to export to other countries. And that is important because the things that we need to export to other countries, they have to be done here, and electricity is paramount.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Ben Piri, has officially opened the 3.6 billion kwacha modern Malembo Rural Market Growth Center in Lilongwe. According to Piri, the modern market will improve trade in the area and spur economic growth in the country. Olive Piri reports.
The modern Malembo Rural Market Growth Center in Lilongwe has structures such as 3 market sheds, a warehouse, slaughterhouse, offloading bay, pit latrines, refuse bins and water tanks. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri has commended IFAD for financing the construction of Malembo Market. Piri says the market has been built to provide a trading space for various traders and cooperatives that the ministry is working with to help improve the country's economy. He also highlights that the market will help to improve the lives of people in Malembo.
This market complements and speaks volumes of the aspirations of the government. As they trade, the economy of this country is booming. Not only that, but their lives as well are improving.
IFAD Country Director Bernadette Mugonyora says they financed the market under trade project to, among others, increase productivity in the country, enabling farmers to meet market demand and connect them to markets. Mugonyora has urged traders in Malembo to maintain the market and take ownership of the facility, saying it will also serve future generations.
The communities have to play their part as well in terms of ensuring that the facility is used for the intended purpose, cleanliness as well in such a place, and also ensuring that any maintenance or community level maintenance is done.
Member of Parliament for the area, Lawrence Jakakala Chazia, expressed appreciation for the construction of the modern market in his area and assured that it will be well maintained.
I'm extremely excited with the opening of the market today because this will help our people in the constituency. It's something that will bring a lot of traders together. The security of their goods, the environment that is so conducive for business operations. So I'm extremely excited to bring economic growth to the masses in the constituency.
The Malembo Market Growth Center, which has been completed within its time frame, was constructed by Seco Holdings. Construction works began in December 2024. The market is expected to benefit around 14,000 farming households in the area. Olive Piri, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Malawi School of Government has challenged the human resource professionals in government and private institutions to advance human resource excellence, saying this is crucial in achieving Malawi 2063. Chairperson for the Malawi School of Government, Professor Louis Dzimbiri, said this in Mangoje District when he presided over the official opening of a 5-day training workshop for human resource practitioners drawn from different parastatal organizations to enhance their workplace performance. Francis Banda has filed this report, read by Owen Mavula.
Speaking during the official opening of the training workshop, Professor Dzimbiri said human resource professionals have a crucial role to play in implementing and monitor progress of their respective institutions to enhance workplace performance. According to Professor Dzimbiri, human resource officers deal with delicate issues involving employees in organizations, hence the need to equip them with skills on how best they can address different situations for sustainable productivity. This, he said, can help Malawi realize 2063 development aspiration, which seeks to transform the country to a wealthy and self-reliant industrialized upper-middle-income country.
HR has to think strategically also about what type of people will be required to fulfill the required direction that the organization wants. Just like the Malawi 2063, we know what we want to achieve. But without HR people deliberately also targeting their policies and practices towards that direction, then we might find ourselves reaching 2063 and nothing has happened. So that's why it's very important to give them confidence, to give them a realization, to give them tools that are required so that they can participate in a convincing manner in boardrooms, in their organizations, and be able to convince top management about their role.
Senior Human Resource Officer for the Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM, responsible for the Northern Region, Charles Piasi, noted that the training will help enhance their performance, saying Human Resource Department is a strategic pillar for the growth of any organization.
This training will help us in impacting the institutions which we are coming from in different ways. First, let us look at one of the topics which I are considering, which is data-driven or evidence-based decision-making. You see that when making decisions, it's not just an issue of going with emotions, but you have to be evidence-based. You have to see that what is evidence telling us and which decisions are we supposed to make. So this training is giving us or is impacting us with the skills on how best to leverage the data which we have in our organizations so that we'll be able to make proper decisions which will help to run our companies.
The training workshop is being held under the theme strengthening human resource for strategic relevance.
This is MBC News, a reminder of our top stories. Government reaffirms its commitment to transforming the energy sector by 2030. Human resource professionals in the country challenged to advance human resource excellence, saying this is crucial in achieving Malawi 2063. The Department of Animal Health and Livestock Development intensifies efforts to contain the spread of lumpy skin disease.
Something big is coming on NBC. Not what you've seen before. A new force is about to hit the road. Crafted for presence, engineered for power, designed to turn every head before it even arrives. You'll hear it before you see it. You'll feel it before you know it. This isn't just another launch. It's the beginning of advanced broadcasts. Unveiling soon on NBC. Stay ready.
Welcome back. The Department of Disaster Management Affairs at DODMA has urged communities to strictly follow weather advisories to reduce the risk of disasters. This comes as the department concludes the final phase of the 2025-2026 relief food distribution exercise, which faced challenges due to persistent heavy rains. Yohani Jizomola reports from Luchenza.
The Department of Disaster Management Affairs said failure to follow weather forecast continues to put communities at risk of avoidable disasters. Speaking in Luchenza during the final phase of the relief food distribution exercise, Director of Disaster Preparedness, Charles Matabwa, said heavy rains brought logistical challenges, but the program was successfully completed.
The low moments was only when the weather changed. The onset of the rainy season from around February or January, when we had heavy rains all the way to March. As you know, we are dealing with rural areas, and the accessibility of the roads, the rural roads, was a problem. In some places like Neno, Mwanza and Mango Chimakanjira, the trucks had some problems to pass through, but we made it and we passed through the areas to get the people. I bet it was a tough time.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for the area, Chimwemwe Chipungo, who also serves as Minister of Lands and Urban Development, commended the government for supporting vulnerable households. He, however, warned the local leaders against bias in selecting beneficiaries, stressing the need for transparency and fairness.
Usually we leaders, we abuse the locals by getting so much for our households. So my warning to them was to be very accountable. This maize is not for us, people that are able. This is for maize for people that are not able in the constituency and other surrounding areas. It has to be distributed to them. We have, bad leaders who always think about their families, distributing maize and whatsoever to their families. So it was a warning. As the president has been saying, government is not a feast. We have to save the people that are in our communities.
One of the beneficiaries, Letex Zua from Lolo village, expressed gratitude for the continued food assistance, saying it has eased the burden on vulnerable families. The successful completion of the relief exercise underscores the need for sustained collaboration between government, local leaders, and communities to strengthen disaster preparedness, promote fairness in relief distribution, and build resilience among vulnerable households. Yohane Chizomola, MBC News, Luchenza, Tcholo.
Government says Skills for a Vibrant Economy SAVE project is poised to make a significant impact on Malawi's education system and economy as it aims to enhance market-relevant skills, particularly for women and youth. Minister of Labour, Skills and Innovation, George Gona, made the remarks after touring Soche Technical College in Blantyre to appreciate the status of the construction work for a workshop for automobile mechanics and offices. Gisomo Break reports.
The SAVE project aims to provide additional infrastructure, including workshops and equipment, for different courses in the country's regional technical colleges. Chigona stated that the $100 million 5-year Malawi government initiative is supported by the World Bank and will improve quality training and significantly raise enrollment through improved technical colleges.
Very much satisfied. As you are aware, last year I was here inspecting the same project, and today the contractor have just assured us that by next month, 25th of May, the project will be fully completed and being handed over to the government. 2 courses here that we have, and then we're just adding up to those 2 to increase the number of intake on the college.
Contractor for the project at Sochi Technical College in Blantyre, Choice Limited, said it was at an 80% completion rate. The project manager, Imun Mwepesa, expressed optimism that by 26th May next month, the project will be handed over to the government.
We are at 80% as a progress. So as of now, we have not revised. We have a revised program of works in which, as of now, we are still on the progress. We are remaining with the installation of iron sheets, as you can see, tile finishing, plastic, then painting, and windows and doors as well.
The concept was hatched in 2019, but the implementation started in July 2025, following some delays by the government then. Chisomo Break, MBC News, Blantyre.
The Department of Animal Health and Livestock Development says it has intensified efforts to contain the spread of lumpy skin disease, which has affected some parts of Mzimba district. Speaking to MBC, the director for the department, Julius Julu, said currently 515 cattle have already been affected, while more than 2,000 others are at a risk of contracting the disease. Julu said the department has since restricted the movement of cattle from Bulala Extension Planning Area, EPA, in Mzimba South, and it has already rolled out a vaccination campaign to prevent further spread of the disease. Our reporter George Banda speaks to Julu.
That's very true. The report came out on 13th of April that there is lumpy skin disease in Mzimba district. Samples were collected to the lab. We are working on them, but it is indeed lumpy skin disease.
What are the symptoms of this disease?
The name of the disease gives it away. It is called lumpy, coming from lumps. Lumps that look like nodules on the skin around the neck and the back and the head. So the root of infection causes the symptoms to appear because it is transmitted by biting flies, ticks, or mosquitoes.
Does it affect other livestock?
No, this one is lucky enough for us. It affects cattle, and then I think a few wild ruminants in the same family like cattle. But for domestic animals, it is a disease of cattle and the buffaloes.
Now, as authorities, what are you doing to contain the spread of the disease?
The first thing that we did was sensitize the communities around, and we have also put in travel restrictions. Animals from the infected area are not allowed to move to the clean area. And the animals from the clean area affected APA. We have restricted movement of animals. People, we have held meetings to let people aware so that when they see this type of symptoms, they can quickly report to the nearest veterinary office so that further biosecurity actions can be taken to make sure it is contained. My message is to make sure that they should know know where the animals are grazing. They shouldn't mix their animals with animals of unknown source. Just be on the lookout and a quick report, we can intervene. Viral diseases don't have medicine, but we treat what we call.
Following President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's Executive Order No. 2 of the 2026, which aims at promoting sanitation and hygiene, the Blantyre City Council has launched the implementation of the order in the city. District Commissioner for Blantyre, Alex Mdoko, has since urged vendors at the market to ensure cleanliness by making use of dust bins, which the council has provided to the market.
Yes, thank you very much. If you remember quite well that just last month we received what we call an executive order that requires that we should be promoting cleanliness in all the institutions in Malawi. And the institutions include markets, health facilities, schools, and other public places. So Blantyre District has thought it wise to launch this exercise here in Lunzu. Why Lunzu? Because this is one of the biggest markets that we have in Blantyre. And I think when we pass by, you usually see a lot of filth, a lot of waste along the streets, even in the market. Some are dated. We tried in the past to engage the people, the users, but we felt that by launching this exercise here in Lunzu, maybe to give a bigger picture of what it is expected out of the people that use the market and use the roads, so that they should keep the roads clean and also the markets clean, including their homes, their houses. Lunzu, why Lunzu again? Because Lunzu last time had a very big project of removing waste that had accumulated over the years. And I think it took us almost more than 10 days to remove the waste from the market here. But that worked. So we think for continuity, people should continue this observing this one. These are hygiene standards that have been set by launching this exercise. We hope the messages will go even to the people and to their homes as well. But from here, we proceed to other markets. We have already started, like in Chikuli, we did the exercise. It wasn't launched there, but we did the exercise to remove the refuse. It took us almost a week using the trucks. We moved waste at more than 5 years or so. We're doing the same thing in Jatunda market. Jatunda was starting with the toilets. We are doing procurement of the services for those that empty waste, solid waste and liquid waste. So from there, all the markets will be governed, but also all the health facilities. When the schools open, we will try our best that we reach out to all the schools, primary schools in Blantyre.
Northern Region Police Commissioner Glinton Mirai has advised the children of police officers to refrain from engaging in bad behavior in order to secure a brighter future. He made the remarks in Mzuzu when the Northern Region Police Headquarters invited children of police officers for a career talk. We have a report by Jisomo Manda.
Addressing the children, Northern Region Police Commissioner Glinton Mirai emphasized the importance of choosing friends wisely and encouraged them to report any form of abuse to police or relevant authorities.
As parents, we thought it wise to sit down with the kids to tell them how they should behave, to work hard in school, to be hardworking in whatever they are doing, because in life they will meet a lot of challenges. If they fail, they should stand up and move forward.
One of the attendees, Shekina Jima, said she has learned that education is very important and that hard work always pays off.
The lessons which I've learned today is like I need to work hard and choose friends which will help me to prosper, and I should not concentrate in time maybe watching movies, playing games, but I need to concentrate on my studies so that I can gain better grades, and I need to pull up my success. I may be meeting with hurdles in my life, but then this meeting, it has helped me that I need to have positive self-esteem.
The children also appeal to the commissioner to assist them with kits for various sports disciplines. Somanda, MBC News, Nzuzu.
In international news, the South African opposition politician Julius Malema has been sentenced to 5 years in prison after being found guilty of the illegal possession of a gun and firing it in public. Malema's lawyer said he would be appealing against the decision to prevent the leader of the economic freedom fighters from being taken away to prison. The length of the sentence could see the 45-year-old being disqualified as an MP. Standing in court in a dark suit and a red tie, Malema showed little emotion as the magistrate read out the sentence. Last year, he was convicted of 5 offenses, including the unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition, discharging it in public space, and a reckless endangerment. Now here is a breakdown of the sentence. Count number 1, unlawful possession of firearm, 5 years imprisonment, and count 2, unlawful possession of ammunition, 2 years imprisonment. Count 3, discharging firearm in public, 20,000 rands fine. And count 5, reckless endangerment to person or property, 20,000 rands fine. Count 3, 4, and 5 have had an alternative of 6 months in prison if he can't afford or pay the fines. Well, on that item, that concludes this MBC edition of news, but we have to go back to our headlines before we leave. Government reaffirms its commitment to transforming the energy sector by 2030. Human resource professionals in the country challenged to advance human resource excellence, saying this is crucial in achieving Malawi 2063. And the Department of Animal Health and Livestock Development intensifies efforts to contain the spread of lumpy skin disease. You've been with me, Romeo Umari. Many thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Last year, I teamed